Midwest Sports Net is on location here in Arlington, Texas. It's the Red River Reunion, and it is a fundraiser for the American Heart Association to help sponsor the Bear Bryant Award, as it is sponsoring that. And I get the privilege to visit now with Coach Mack Brown, who has spent a number of years on the sideline with the University of Texas. And Coach, talk really quickly about what it means to get to be a part of a fundraiser for an organization like the American Heart Association.
Well, we had a young guy named Matt Nader, and we committed him at Texas. And in the third game of his senior year, he dropped of a heart attack. And we thought he was going to die. And the wonderful doctors, it was near Houston, saved his life. He didn't get to play anymore, but he came to us and helped us coach at Texas for the 5 years, got his degree, and now he travels and helps people talk about their hearts and high school athletes and trying to save their life if they have it. So the Heart Association, American Heart Association, affects all of us. So I've been part of the Bear Brown Awards. I love Coach Bryant. He was recruited me, and I love being around him at a very young age. And then to get the award and then it be associated with such a great cause. When they called me today and said, we'd like for you to come, I said, absolutely.
Well, Coach Barry Switzer, we had a chance to visit with him. He called you a good friend. And I appreciated that, and getting to be a part of a reunion atmosphere like this really is today, getting ready for the Red Rive Shootout tomorrow. It's a big deal. I wanted to ask you, you have a unique perspective, having coached on the sideline on both sides. What does something like that mean?
It's very unique. I'm very lucky. I loved Oklahoma and Coach Switzer. When I was there, I coached Bosworth. Mm-hmm. Brian was a linebacker when I was coaching the offense. In fact, the first scrimmage we had, our quarterback was off limits, Danny Bradley. We weren't supposed to hit him. The first play of the scrimmage, Brian knocked him in the seats. And I ran to scream at Brian, and Coach said, "That's okay. Come on, Brian, get out of the way." And Brian said, "It's football. You got to be able to let us hit them, man. You got to be able to let us hit them." So I've been a friend of Brian's for a long time. In the game where I was at Oklahoma in 1984, it ended up a 15-15 tie, and on a rainy day in the Cotton Bowl. But what a wonderful series, and to be part of both sides of this is just it's a life dream for me, something that very few people get to experience.
Absolutely. Coach, one of the things that I've seen in watching you over the years on the sidelines of more than one university, but specifically with the University of Texas, you've always come across to me as a man of character, and the way that you handle yourself and the way you handle your program as well. I'm sure that has something to do with your faith and your background. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, Joey, thank you for asking. I pray all the time. I have very, very strong faith. And sometimes we get off track and we wonder why things happen, and we start questioning. And I always say, "Okay, God, I got it. I'm going to get to heaven one day and I'm going to be able to ask, but I'm going to trust you and move forward with it and go forward with it." But we lost a young man last year at North Carolina to cancer, and we watched him live and die over a 2.5-year period. He's 21 years old when he got stage 4 lung cancer, and then he died at 23, and we saw him go from a vibrant athlete, great young man. Mom's a single parent that's a police officer in Sumter, South Carolina, to a cane, to a wheelchair, to hospice, and died during the season. And the minister at the funeral was really good. He said, "We're all going to join him, some, and we don't have control of. We have control of a lot of things. We don't have control of how long we've got to live. And if you are healthy, and if your family's healthy, and relatively happy, then you have no problems." And he said, "You better get up every morning and be grateful for what you have if everybody's healthy, and the same at night." So I'm a guy that believes in the Lord, believes in what's right. And I believe every morning I pray, I pray for our family, our close friends, and all the players that have ever played for us, to make sure that they're healthy and happy. And of course, people say you get out of coaching. When you've been doing it 36 years, you never get out, because there's always one calling you wanting something, and you're there to help them.
And everyone still calls you coach.
They do, and I always said it's a 40-year decision instead of a 4. So I'm in it now. Some of them are going to have to be 50-year decisions because they're getting older.
You've been on the sideline for this one for a number of times. Is there a Red Rive Shootout memory that stands out to you?
Joey, I had 17 of them. One as an assistant at Oklahoma and 16 at Texas. And Sally said, people say, how long did you say? My wife says 4 presidential terms. That's how long you made it at Texas. There are probably 3 that stand out. The one in Oklahoma, I think Texas was 1 and Oklahoma was 2, so that was an unbelievable game. And then the first game I was at Texas, it was Doak Walker had just died like 2 days before, and Ricky Williams was our great running back. He wanted to wear Doak's number, and the NCAA allowed it. He had a 37-yard touchdown run, thinking about the Lord, and he stopped and pointed up. And then in the locker room afterwards, Coach Switzer and I and Ricky gave his jersey to Doak's family. So that was really special. And then the 2005 national championship game, we were just better. And there'd been a streak, and we hadn't won for a while. So that was a fun game because we just played so well. And then I think the 08 game where Oklahoma was number 1 and we were number 5, and it came down to 45-35. It was one of the best games I've ever been around or better seen and ever seen, and it's one that I remember forever.
Exciting to watch.
It's very exciting.
It really was exciting to watch. Okay, I know that you're not going to try to coach for one side or the other, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on what it would take for the Longhorns to get a win in this one in 2025.
You know, I've seen Oklahoma on TV a couple of times, and Brent's doing a great job. Their defense is so improved, and I'm so impressed with Arbuckle, the offensive coordinator, and John Mateer and what he's brought. He's competitive, he's athletic, he's tough, he seems to be a tremendous leader. So in coaching, you sit and you say, okay, is he going to play or not? And if he does, how good is he going to play? And you don't want to get him hurt. But obviously Texas will be physical on the quarterback if they can. And then you look at Texas, they're just coming off a very difficult loss at Florida in a tough environment where Florida was able to run the ball and Texas was not. There's 3 turnovers to 1. So I think these games are kind of crazy, but does John play?
Yeah.
And if he plays, can he play like he did before he hurt his injury with his hand? That's always in question. You just don't know. And what will the emotion do? And can Hawkins come in and play better than he did last year in the same environment? So I think quarterback play, I'm an Arch Manning fan. He had 6 sacks last week. I think he got hit 14 times. They got to take better care of him. He's got young receivers. The running backs haven't been able to play. They've had hamstring pulls. So it's a matter tomorrow, in my estimation, about who makes the fewest mistakes and who takes advantage of the opportunities that they get.
All right. Coach Mack Brown, it's a privilege, sir, to get to visit with you here on Midwest Sportsnet as we are talking about the Bear Bryant Award here today, reunions, the American Heart Association, and, of course, the Red Rive Shootout as well, a big part of that. So thank you for watching here on Midwest Sportsnet.